So let's see if he can pull out the best performance of his life here today. Best of 7, love all. Had the opening.
3-0 in Halmstad, 3-0 in Kuala Lumpur in the World Team Event Championships. The stats don't look good for Matthias.
Of what the odds are, we all hope for an exciting match here. And just imagining what it would be like, Matthias Falk would be able to pull this off. The energy in the world, I think global warming might burn. There it is, pips on the forehand. That is the most unique part of Matthias Falk's game, that flat hitting shot with less rotation, tough to get into the rallies, but his backhand is the bread and butter that sets it up. It's the consistent shot with a lot of spin, something he can open with.
When the ball's coming flat, then it's coming with the topspin that you mentioned, Adam.
Yeah.
I look back in history now, Stellan Bengtsson, the end of his career, played with short pimples, albeit on the backhand. Milan Orlowski, European champion, played with pimples on the backhand. But there's no...
Now, in terms of advantages and disadvantages of being as tall as Matthias Falk is, crowd getting behind him here. He stands high, the table stays in the same place, so he's gonna have to have shorter strokes. He's got a bigger middle to attack. Advantage is he can cover the wide wings, and he gets a lot of racket speed when he has time to open up.
You've got to hit the ball at the top of the bounce and hit through with the pimples. But what Marlong's doing here is top spinning very low over the net.
60s and get beaten. So that he can attack even while it's over the table. Oh, it's inside the line. I mean, study this man now. It's constantly a masterclass when he's playing. There's so much to learn from the brilliance of the dictator. This is one thing that Matthias Falk is going to have to depend on, making things uncomfortable for Ma Long, which isn't easy. Koki Niwa was credited by Ma Long as making things uncomfortable. Ma Long said it's just always so uncomfortable to play Koki Niwa, despite having quite a dominant record against him. There we go, surprise.
Straight through it, very flat the ball.
Unbelievable, his feet on the floor from before. How fast he turns. He even showed a push to begin with. 30 years old. The speed of light puts him up by 3 on the receive. It's a flatter shot in general, but he can still spin the ball, as you see here. A lot of players struggle to know how much topspin is on the ball because they really don't face this shot from this rubber. It's a very odd thing to encounter and difficult to find practice partners to prepare. 4 points in the lead, Ma Long on the serve. Oh, the one, it's a best of 7. Stick around. Game number 2 of the men's singles final coming up right after this.
Myself in Jürgen Persson's shoes, and what would I say? I mean, it's really tough. You're up against the best player in the world, probably the best player over the last 50 years. That's a bit of a debate for later, but he's got to try and get the pimples in, the smash, take the ball at the top of the bounce, put him under pressure, be positive with the reverse side on his backhand.
Pips out on the forehand, trying to flick. Just missing, still almost doesn't convert the point with that net ball and the shock receive. That's how difficult it is and how much it takes to win a point against Ma Long, who you have to imagine is incredibly well prepared for this match. Don't see Ma Long chopping too often. Very specialized skill.
Unlucky. Pips as soon as you can. You know, I was there in 1989 when Sweden played China in an Appelgren. And the coach, Glenn Hoos, told me that they practiced top spinning low over the net for a month on the pre-games camp. Top spinning low over the net. The roles reversed from 89 final. Sweden won 5-0, by the way, in that final. Took the Swadeling Cup.
5-0, my goodness. The Japanese women have practice partners from China for that matter. They can caught off guard behind the table to make the shot. There we go. On the follow-up drive down the line. Takes a big risk here from behind the table. Again, you talked about catching the ball at its peak. That one just a little bit after the peak. Still, he made the shot as early as possible. Ma Long doesn't make that easy. He knows this coming in. As the sound sometimes of the bounce, like it might have caught a little bit of the back edge, but it looks clean enough on the bounce. And that's another thing to shut down Ma Long. If it's inside the table at all, Ma Long's so fast and so well.
It was right on the baseline. That's crucial as well.
Risky shot into the body of Ma Long. Watch the angle here from down low. Forces Ma Long to chicken wing it a little bit, to throw that elbow up first, to get out of the way. Now Ma Long has shocked me.
He's able to lean, almost contort his body to get in with, and still play, impose himself on this game.
I'll say 4 points in a row from down 2-5. He's in the lead. The nickname, I was wondering if I'd have a chance to call him the sweet.
Just got to keep trying for that. Well-placed topspin there by Ma Long.
Bringing it back. This is what he did against Fang Zhendong in 2017, and even against no, just missing. Apologizes there for the fortune a few shots back. Still the touch game, no panic from Ma Long. Matthias played that as well as you can possibly play it, Don.
He gave himself a chance to win the point there, and arguably unfortunate not to win it. Look how close that was there on the replay. I thought Falk did well there, 5-1 down, I think he was. He then got 4-5 points. Led off.
Who had been out of the game for a little bit, but with Liu Goliang back in CTTA in a big way. Oh, back on the table. I mean, we've got the Thanos snap from Ma Long, the Marvel. Ma Long was saying flash photography in the crowd can be quite distracting. In the decider. So Matthias Falk using the backhand wisely, gets a creative attempt out of Ma Long. Oh, murder break. The reverse pendulum there, tight. Gets a spinny ball from Ma Long, a little bit soft. He's taken the changing tactics. He will adapt. It's what he does. Oh, so the level of focus right now from Matthias Falk, he's using the forehand whenever he can, spinning hard with the backhand.
Obviously there, Falk, we see him, he's away from the table. He's got to stay up to the table. Take a few more chances, Matthias.
What a setup here. Close to the table, was able to control the wide angles. For his height to stay this close, this is going to have to be the sweet spot. This is going to have to be where he builds his home. The real estate just behind the table.
Short pimples don't generate the same amount of spin. So here he goes. It hasn't quite got the top spin and the block into the net. There wasn't the spin on the ball that Ma Long thought there was.
He's all that combined with placement. Matthias Falk is trying to finish the rallies as quickly as he can.
And that was
crowd.
Falk. Even I could interpret that one.
Sits up just enough. But by the time he got to it, Ma Long played it just barely above net height. So really an impressive shot. Had 9-2. Still quite close here to the finish line. And if anyone here, from the start of this tournament to the last match, is capable of a comeback.
Clearly back with Ma Long.
He got right now 5 game points for the Swede in the lead. just missed. Hawk chop comes back, and then he has to float it from under the table. The fishing game from Matthias Falk. When do you see this? He even had the counter with the forehand left for Matthias Falk. Surprise flick, the placement. How can anyone know?
It's going to be on the baseline. Slight hesitation from the world champ.
Now they'll try and make a very quality shot if he's going to go here. Either go deeper to the backhand or try to play it a little on the forehand side. But it was a loop.
That's it. Short pushes from the Swedish player that have been decisive. His touch has been excellent.
For me, that was one of the most impressive things. After all, he's the first player I've seen hit an around-the-net chop on the World Tour.
Reverse rubber on the backhand this time, top spin. A lot of spin on the ball, and exactly what he wants. Marlong's not adjusting to the spin.
And the placement's perfect. Fast legs indeed.
From Russia, that was the team I looked after on a Euro Asia. Got to know Jurgen very well.
Perfect play. So Matthias Falk still up by one, serve on his side. Needs to find that quality first attack. Wow. Control here, grab the reins in the point. That fishing shot with the backhand, Malong. What a counter. He's taking the risks, and that's what it's all about. He makes a high percentage of on the racket handle. That he made some big shots here. He made a risky serve, risky backhand right down the middle. It almost looked like he was surprised that the ball came back as quick as it did. From this serve tight and keep the toss as low as possible. Matthias Falk and not Matthias Carlsen with Julia Carlsen. It's because he's a very fair, kind Don Parker here quote and say we're getting into the business end of the game.
Oh, he had situation to win the point. He's playing positive. He's spinning with the reverse.
Now the last two serve combination this game will have.
Oh! Again on the replay, just look right. The push was a little bit
later on the receive. Matthias Falk looking to serve this one for deuce. Oh, it's up 3-1. No timeouts left for Matthias Falk. We'll see what happens. Game number 5 coming up right after this. Right.
It was, I apologize, I'm really sorry.
Unbelievable, this man, as kind as they come.
See many great Chinese go on to play well into the 30s. Be very interesting what happens to Marlong.
Injury, and he's been dealing with one recently. Again, about 6 months. Country that could challenge China and even dominate China for a period of time. I want to talk mental strength briefly. Yesterday against An Jae-hyun, after losing 11-2 in Game 6, being down 2-4, I mean, it'd be easy for somebody to crumble. Matthias Falk went on a rampage. Oh, there! And to just smack it back. Short pips, Matthias Falk covers the middle there, gets low and leaning out in front. This is a very uncomfortable ball, but he succeeds. He excels and he thrives under pressure right now, Don.
He has the ability just to put everything behind him and focus on the next point. He doesn't appear to dwell on anything, even the yellow card he got at the beginning of this game.
1 point in the lead, Ma Long on the receive. This is tough. There are actually debates that that is not the case on Ma Long's side. Yeah, I mean, he was outside the table when he hit it. The ball went down as if it hit a wall.
Let's have a look.
Yes.
17 cameras, and it's just been awesome.
With the second towel break, Ma Long up 8-4. I mean, we mentioned before the match, the most common call to the book break loosed on.
I just could have levelled it at 2 games apiece, 9-8 up when the timeout was called in that 4th game. A credit to himself, his family, and that backhand against Marlon. Can't see him coming back, but I've got everything crossed up here in the commentary box.
Yeah, we'd love to see this championship. I mean, people are going to have to find new conversations at bars after tournaments. Ready to serve. Just missed. And Malone takes it 3 in a row. Back to back to back. A turkey. Look at this man, Don.
Well, I just watched this point again. There it is. And those arms go up, the emotions there. And it's not just, I think, because of what he's just done on the table. It's not that long ago when potentially he thought his career was over. His table tennis finished. And now he's been on a journey for some 7-8 months, and it accumulates in this point. And that's what it's all about there. That's what you can see on the screen. It's the last 6 months